guys, what's up? This is Shubhali from eGadgets for you, and this is a new Micromax Canvas Juice 4G, recently launched from Micromax and the latest entrant to the market. As the name suggests, the most important USP of this particular device is the 4000 mAh battery. It has some of the interesting specifications and stuffs to go along with. So let's dig deep into the full review of this particular handset. Let's talk battery. As is evident from the name, Juice 4G, it does have some extra juice with 4000 mAh battery. Mind you, it's mind-blowing. It's lasted for close to 2 working days, even on very high usage. Playing games, multitasking, and also receiving calls, each and everything is a pure delight with this particular battery. It does tends to last for a full 2 working days. And also it charges very fast. So that way or the other, this handset is a definite plus from the battery department to start with. It supports a micro SIM. It has some space for an additional micro SD card also. The Micromax Canvas Juice 4G is built with plastic, but it looks classy and looks modern also. On the swipe down menu, the auto brightness sensors is missing. Digging deep into the settings, you will find that there is no special customizations or any unique features that you find under settings. This particular handset runs on an Android version of 5.1, which is Lollipop straight out of the box. Storage wise, it gives you a merely 8 gigs, out of which only around 3 gigs is available to the users. That way it's a definite thumbs down from a ROM department. As because if we install a high-end game like Asphalt 8, you run the risk of a shortage of space. Considering the offerings that we find in the Android market nowadays, a low storage is definitely not a thumbs up for any handset whatsoever. Having said that, the Micromax Canvas Juice 4G supports an additional 32 gigs with an external micro SD card. But then again, internal memory is something that they should have laid emphasis on to work from start. There is no skimp or shortage of space whatsoever furthermore, as because the Micromax Canvas Juice 4G supports an USB OTG. So that way you can get your pen drive, watch movies, browse your office files, and get that bit of extra space and storage to use along with your Juice 4G handset. With the Micromax Canvas Juice 4G, you find a lot of bloatware, a lot of apps that are pre-installed in this particular device. On long run, shortage of internal storage, that is a definite thumbs down for me. I'm not sure why Micromax still gives you a lot of apps, whereas it can give you the liberty to install apps that you will. So that way or the other, I'm not a big fan of using a lot of apps just from the start of any particular handset. Micromax needs to think about this particular feature. The Micromax Canvas 4G supports a 5-inch of screen display. It has a TFT capacitive touch screen with 16 of color. It supports a resolution of 1280 into 720 pixels. My opinion of this particular handset from a display perspective is it's very bright, it's vibrant. The minute color detailing is quite evident in this particular handset also. Mind you, it's not the greatest of display on pen and paper, but then again, practically it does gives you a great display. I just love the display of this particular handset, and I'm amazed that in a simple screen quality, what type of clarity and what specifications that this particular display can boast of for the Micromax Canvas Juice 4G. Let's talk specs. In the Antutu benchmark test, it gives you a 19,216. Personally, I did not like the score at all, considering that this particular handset is being depicted as Juice with a higher battery and also a good display handset. The score is very mediocre. If we dig deep into the device info, you find that it runs on a quad-core processor that is clocked at 1 GHz. It has a GPU of Mali T720. It has a chipset of MT6735P. It has a 2 gigs of RAM. So pen and paper wise, those are decent combinations, are great combinations. The power of the chipset along with the 2 gigs of RAM does comes in handy while reading stuffs and browsing the net also. But then again, here is my complaint. The touch sensation is not that smooth or that great. The pinch to zoom does not works perfect. Even on very minutely using that particular feature also, the pinch to zoom did lag behind a lot. So that way it's not at all a good user interface or not at all a user friendly way that I found in this particular device. Multitasking was not that great either. It was mediocre. It can get your job done, but it's nothing like that. It will get you that bit of extra thing and that bit of extra functionality in this particular handset, where you can go ahead and use it at your will and also get along stuffs, get around things to be done very quickly and easily. The most important noteworthy point for any Android handset nowadays is the camera. This particular handset of the Micromax Canvas Juice 4G sports a 8 megapixel shooter at the back with LED flash and autofocus. It has a 5 megapixel shooter at the front. But then if we dig deep into the settings, you get a lot of things, a lot of customizations, as is quite evident in the Micromax handsets nowadays, to play along with. To take that particular picture, you can just use each and every feature and see how it performs. My personal usage of this particular handset was mostly restricted to auto mode, so that way it did get my job done to a great deal. Let me guide you through some of the pictures that I've taken using the camera of this particular handset. In low light condition with a good amount of flash and tap to focus, object did come out good. The brightness was perfect in this as is quite evident in this particular picture. The color contrast you can easily see and depict in this particular device also, and this particular camera also. You can see that the curves, edges, each and everything are minutely depicted in this particular image also. I like to use in this particular camera, but then again I'm not a huge fan of this particular camera, as because it does get your job done but not the greatest at all at the end of the day. We have seen some of the most wonderful cameras of late from many Android devices. Micromax is failing a lot in the camera department, not sure why, but still in ample daylight condition it can get a perfect picture for you, as is quite evident in this particular shot also, that the brightness, the focus point, the color combinations, saturations are perfect in broad daylight conditions. On ample lighting also it will get your job done, but it fails miserably in low light conditions. I'm not a big fan of this particular camera also, as is quite evident in the front camera of a 5 megapixel shooter also. It's just okay, just mediocre, not the greatest at the end of the day. As far as my verdict goes for the Micromax Canvas Juice 4G, it's priced around 8,100 INR. That is not the highest at the end of the day. It's mid-range and lower mid-range if I consider it that way also. But then the only USP of this particular device is a 4000 mAh battery and the 2 gigs of RAM. Multitasking is not a delight in this particular handset. It has a low internal ROM, so that does not comes handy at all. And also the finger gestures, touch sensations are not the greatest end of the day. If I just keep aside all these points and consider only the price, and also that you are getting a decent handset in this particular price range, and also it supports a bright display, then maybe this is your phone. But then again, we do find a lot of good phones at this price range, even from Samsung. So it's a tricky one to be decided, that whether you want a big battery life only for your phone. So that way or the other, my vote is not at all fully inclined towards this particular Micromax Canvas Juice 4G. But it's my opinion. Do let me know your views and opinions in the comment section below. Hope this video helps. Stay subscribed to my channel to catch more interesting updates from me. That's it guys. Bye for now.